sir. Harper. Good morning, boys. Good morning, sir.
Michigan played an important role in the Civil War. Not only did the state provide 90,000 troops for the war effort, but there was strong patriotism for preserving the Union. This was demonstrated before and during the war. Also, slavery was foremost a moral issue for people living in the newly formed state of Michigan. Let's follow a timeline of events leading up to the war. Michigan, as early as the 1830s, was a haven for runaway slaves. If the runaways could cross the Ohio River and make it to Michigan, a network of station masters aided and formed an underground railroad. Laura S. Haviland of Lenawee County was one of many Michigan station masters. She, before and after the Civil War, helped thousands of slaves find safe haven and in most cases helped them get to Canada. Austin Blair, in January of 1861, becomes the new Michigan governor. On Wednesday, January 16th, at Detroit, the governor and the new legislature are in session to discuss slavery and tariff issues. At this time, Michigan's military consists of 28 independent companies totaling 1,241 men and officers. Each unit was formed at their own expense, and they were poorly equipped. This so-called state guard receives $3,000 a year in state funding. Stephen W. Sador, a married man, left Michigan to join the New York 1st Infantry Regiment for the 90-day enlistment, but he apparently changed his mind and was honorably discharged in August of 1865. May 4th, Governor Austin Blair appoints David H. Jerome as head recruiting officer. He will travel around the state establishing 6 to 7 recruiting centers to meet President Lincoln's requests. Troops on Mackinac Island receive orders to report to Washington. They leave one soldier, Ordnance Sergeant William Marshall, to guard and care for the fort. On Tuesday, May 7th, at Detroit, the legislature authorizes the governor to raise 10 regiments of volunteers and to borrow $1 million. On Saturday, May 11th, the 1st Michigan Infantry Regiment gathers at Campus Martius Public Square to be presented with its regimental colors. A large crowd gathers. Monday morning, May 13th, the 1st Michigan Regiment leaves Fort Wayne for Washington, and in the unit are members of the Jackson Gray. J. Benton Kennedy was one who left that day in full uniform. Some of the troops will travel by train, boarding at the Michigan Central Freight Yard. Others travel by ship on the D.C. steamship line navigating on Lake Erie. Governor Blair appoints Alpheus S. Williams, a Detroit lawyer and bank president, also an officer in the Brady Guard, to take command of Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne is now a military training and induction center. Williams is given the rank of Brigadier General. Later, he will have an active command in various major battles leading to the March on Atlanta. On Thursday, May 16th, President Lincoln is in Washington to greet the 1st Michigan Regiment. The President welcomes them and expresses his feelings. Thank God for Michigan. On Thursday, July 18th, at a place called Manassas Junction in Virginia, a Northern Army artillery piece fires a cannonball across the Virginia countryside, which lands in the chimney of the house where Confederate General Beauregard is having dinner. General Beauregard is being attacked by his West Point classmate, General Irvin McDowell. In Tennessee, on April 5, 1862, the 12th Michigan Infantry Unit from Niles is located near the Tennessee River, preparing for an engagement the next day. On Sunday, April 6th, the Battle of Shiloh begins. While the Union troops were preparing for breakfast, boiling their hardtack bread and making coffee in a wooded area, the Confederates launched a surprise attack on the forces of Ulysses S. Grant. Union forces will take a beating with heavy losses throughout the day. That evening, more reinforcements arrived, and by the next morning, the Union Army had command of the battlefield.